Hey guys, it's your boy MPG and welcome back to part 2 of my soloing guide of Eye of Azshara. This guide is going to show you how you can solo Serpentrix on normal mode and how you can maneuver around the map as a demon hunter so you don't have to fight any of the ads. This is part 2 guys, so make sure you check out part 1. It shows you the first boss and how you can get to this part of the dungeon soloing it as a demon hunter. If you're watching the screen guys, you can see that I skipped a lot of this map just by gliding down from the first boss right to the second boss. As you can see, you can't fight her yet. You need to kill some of the Stormcallers, and in this guide I'm not going to be fighting her second. I'm going to be fighting Serpentrix instead. This is a little thing that I found out the other day. I was doing this on Mythic with a group, and one of the guys told me to fight Serpentrix second, as if you fight him second you don't have to worry about any of the seagulls spawning after you kill the second boss, which means you don't have to pull any seagulls, you won't get any stuns, and you'll be able to get him down a lot quicker. As well as the seagulls not spawning, you won't have to worry about the wins that happens after you've killed the second boss in the dungeon. So your team, well, this is a solo, so you won't get pushed into random ads. Even though it's not that hard, it can just be a bit annoying at times. Alright guys, let's get on with this guide. As you can see, I'm fighting the Arcanist now. She's not a hard fight. She hasn't got any mechanics to worry about apart from the polymorph she casts. As you can see from me fighting her, I forget to interrupt a few of the polymorphs at the beginning of the fight, which just become annoying at the end of the day. It's 8 seconds that you're not doing damage. It's probably put an extra minute on this fight that didn't need to happen. But hey, I was kind of zoning out after killing the first boss and my life wasn't going down, so I wasn't paying that much attention when I was fighting her, which I should have been really. Like I say, really, all you need to do is tank and spank this boss, make sure you're doing a lot of damage, and just make sure it interrupts up when she casts a polymorph, just so you can get out of this fight a lot quicker than I did. The only other thing to actually state with the Arcanist is you do need to kill 2 of them for Lady Hatecoil, who is the second boss, to spawn. She's up in the sky at the moment in a blue orb. But if you want her to come down so you can actually fight her, you need to kill 2 of the Arcanists. I don't really bother in this part of the video because I'm not fighting her second. I'll be fighting her in the next part. There's another cool thing you can do here, just to test your reflexes really, is your Infernal Strike. You can use it to pound the ground when she does her Aqua Sprout and shoots you in the air. It just brings you back to the fight a lot quicker, and as you see I finished her off with it there. And plus it puts your sigil flames up, which is always good. Alright, we're on to Serpentrix now, but before we can actually fight him, we need to kill the ads all around, as he does move around the map when you're fighting him and you have a chance of pulling the ads. And as a solo guide, I don't think you're going to want to fight more than one thing at once. There's only 3 types of ads to fight. The first is a bunch of crabs. They're not elites, they're pretty easy to kill. Just make sure you're AoEing them and putting down your Infernal Strikes, and you should have them down in no time. Another thing to note as well is on my Demon Hunter I have skinning, which this is quite a lucrative dungeon to do to get a lot of skinning. As you see here, I skin the crabs after I kill them, and there's a lot of pools of crabs and things that can be skinned in this dungeon, so when you're running it solo you get 100% of the loot, 100% of the money. As you can see, we sped forward now. I'm onto the second type of ad. This is a Macrana Hardshell. Again, this is just a tank and spank. It doesn't have anything that's really going to kill you. Just make sure you take it down as fast as possible. It doesn't do that much damage, as you can see from my health bar. I can leech heal more than it does damage to me. There's not really much more you need to know about this. There is another type of the hardshell crabs. It's the red ones. They do have a special ability, but when we speed forward in a minute, I will stop it and show you what that ability is. Alright guys, this is the third type of ad. This is the Siltwalker, and as you see it stops here. The Spray Sands ability is quite OP at the moment, so you won't out leech heal it, so just make sure you're dodging it when he actually casts it. As you see there, I just go to the back of him. He doesn't turn, he doesn't follow you. As long as you follow that, you should be alright to kill him. And now we're on to the third or fourth ad, depending how you look at it. This is the Hydra. It's a pretty easy kill. It has a bit more health than most of the ads in the dungeon, and it casts that Rolling Thunder ability that just puts loads of electric on the floor. It hits pretty hard, so I wouldn't stand in it for too long. Otherwise he could kill you, maybe, I'm not too sure, I haven't tried it. I'd just rather not stand in shit on the floor, because that's the aim of the game really, is take less damage and don't stand in fire or electric. Yeah, so all in all, he's a pretty simple ad. The Hydra, just make sure you don't stand in any of the electric. He doesn't deal that much damage to you. Just make sure you're constantly moving. Leech heal as much as you can. He does do a couple of bite attacks that do take quite a lot of life off of you, but you'll be able to out heal him to the amount of damage he does. And plus, when he's casting the lightning, he doesn't really move, so you can get around the back of him and use all your powerful abilities and take him down as fast as possible. After this guy's down, I'm just going to speed the video up nice and fast, just because there's a couple more ads on the far side of this map before we can actually kill Serpentrix. So we need to go and knock them out, but I'll put it on time lapse as they're the same as this. There's another Hydra and another crab, I think another group of crabs. So in all, there's like 6 ads to actually kill, and then you can go straight on to the boss. And like I was saying earlier, guys, the reason why we fight Serpentrix second is we don't want the seagulls to spawn. If you was to kill the lady, whatever her name was, Hate Coil, if you was to kill her first, then there would summon seagulls. Even though they're being passive, when you're fighting, there is a chance that you can AoE them. And they have like an 8 to 12 second stun. And if you're fighting one of these Hydras and then a seagull comes along and stuns you, there's a chance you'll be standing in electric for 8 to 12 seconds, which is not good. As it'll probably kill you. So this is the reason why you fight Serpentrix second. And here we are on the second boss, Serpentrix. Serpentrix isn't that hard of a boss. He only has a few abilities you need to worry about. It's more about controlling these abilities. The first one is Toxic Wounds. This will spawn toxic waste under your character, and it will keep spawning for about 5 to 6 seconds. So within that time, you need to control where the toxic waste lands, as it will not disappear until he casts an ability he does later called Submerge. As you can see, he's already done 1 Toxic Wounds on me, and he's about to cast another. I take the second Toxic Wounds and I run it round the same path I did the first time, but just round the back of it to make it doubly as thick, and it gives me another chance to jump over to the other side and attack him. As you see, when I land from the Infernal Strike, he's casting his second ability, which is Rampage. This is a spell that can be interrupted, so you need to make sure you interrupt it as soon as he starts casting it, as he'll spin his head round and start shooting toxic waste balls at you that deal a hell of a lot of damage. As you can see here, he casts Toxic Wounds on me. I'm managing all the Toxic Wounds on the floor, but then he starts to cast Rampage straight away. So I have to jump over, wait for my interrupt, and then interrupt the spell as soon as possible. And to be honest, that's all you need to know for the beginning part of this fight. He casts Toxic Wounds, you need to make sure you're managing that on the floor. And when he casts Rampage, just make sure you interrupt it so you don't take as much damage. Make sure you're not standing in anything green on the floor. Anything the same colour as the boss is not good. And just make sure you're maintaining them Toxic Wounds around the boss and leaving yourself a space to actually fight him. As you can see again, he casted the Toxic Wounds. I left myself a space to fight him, and he's casted Rampage straight away. Again, I interrupt the Rampage, stop him from casting spells on me, and leech my health back. As you can see, none of the Toxic Wounds have disappeared on the floor, so that's why you need to maintain them. If you don't maintain them, then you're just going to constantly have a ticking damage on you. It's not going to be that much, but you just want to try and save as much health as possible, as you are doing this solo without a healer. And that's it for phase 1. You just maintain the floor and wait till he submerges. Just take his life down as fast as you can. Okay guys, we're now on phase 2. We've got about, a quarter of his life down, and he's decided to submerge. Now he's submerged, he will spawn 2 ads. These ads are the Blazing Hydra spawn. If you was doing this with a group, then your DPS will take the Blazing Hydra spawn and the tank will stay on the main boss just to make sure he interrupts the Rampage. But as you can see, I just need to dodge all of the Rampage. I do run to the boss there and interrupt him so I stop getting that ticking damage. And I take out the 2 Blazing Hydra spawn. They don't have that much life, they're pretty easy to kill. They don't have that many abilities that are actually going to harm you. So you just need to make sure you take them down as fast as possible and then get back on the boss. Once both of the Blazing Hydra spawn are down, you just need to run back to the boss and start fighting him again. And it's the same as phase 1 really. Maintain the floor, Make sure you're not getting the toxic wounds everywhere. Make sure you're interrupting his rampage when you've got interrupts up. And that's it. Rinse and repeat. As I was doing this video, I did notice that when the Blazing Hydra spawn, that's a bit of a weird sentence to say. When the Blazing Hydra spawn, and you kill them, it seems that it takes the damage off of Serpentrix as well, because he done the first submerge at about quarter life gone, and now after I've killed the Hydras, his life seems to be just over half gone. So that's even more reason to kill these ads, as it will take down the main boss's life and just be a hell of a lot faster for you. Especially if you're doing this in LFD, sometimes the tank wants everyone just to focus on the boss and not worry about the ads. At least you can say now that the ads take down the main boss's life and you know what you're doing. So that's it for this fight, guys. You just need to make sure you're maintaining the toxic waste on the floor. Make sure you're spreading it in the right direction, giving yourself somewhere to stand to fight him. Make sure you're interrupting when he does rampage. This rampage will summon balls, toxic balls in the face. No one likes toxic balls in the face, so you just got to make sure you're interrupting this. This will stop damage hitting you, and you can leech back the life he does take off you. And then the third ability will be Submerge. Submerge will happen 2 to 3 times during the fight. I think I got it twice on this battle. This is where he summons the Blazing Hydra spawn. You need to make sure you're taking down his ads as fast as possible. They don't have that much life. They don't deal that much damage, but they will take life off of the main boss when you kill them. And that's it really. Maintain the floor. Make sure you're doing damage. Kill all the spawns. Make sure you follow him when he submerges and interrupt them rampages. And you're on your way to soloing Serpentrix. Another tip for you on this boss is when he submerges and spawns the Blazing Hydra spawn. After you've killed the first one, you should jump to Serpentrix and interrupt his rampage. 9 times out of 10 he'll be casting rampage around then. Once you've interrupted it, then jump onto the second spawn, kill that, and then back onto the boss and kill him. That's the last Hydra down, and now back onto the boss. I don't think he submerges again, so I can just tank and spank him now, make sure I maintain the floor. He's at quarter life now, so I shouldn't take too much longer to kill. I've nearly done it. My life is staying pretty high. The only thing I did mess up here was where he submerged and come out, I didn't clear off them 2 pools of crabs there. I should have really dealt with them before I started fighting the boss, but I was a bit lazy. And I managed the floor pretty well. I got the toxic wounds on one side and I stayed in the same place fighting him, so I knew I wouldn't pull the crabs. And it worked out pretty well, and I ended up getting the kill. But like I say, make sure you kill the ads. Plus, if you're a level worker and you're a skinner, then you can go forward and kill all them crabs and get loads of storm scales. You can either sell them on the auction house, make a decent bit of money. And to be honest, this is my farming spot of choice for storm scales, as I can come in here, not fight any ads I don't want to fight, not fight any of the bosses if I don't want to fight them, and just come straight for these crabs. I get about 10 to 15 pulls and leave each run with about 100 to 180 storm scales. So guys, once again, I'll just recap the boss. Just make sure you're maintaining the floor, following the submerges, killing all the ads, and you should be alright with this boss. It's coming towards the end now. I've nearly killed him. He's not got that much life left. He does take a little while to kill. I think this took me probably about 10 minutes to take him down from 100% to 0. And the higher item level you are, the easier this is going to be. This is actually going to be quite a fun run to do in Heroic, to see if I can take him down in Heroic, as there is a couple of times that he takes my life down to at least half, and I think in Heroic he's going to have more life and a bit more damage, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to be possible, but we'll see in future videos. I start tanking him at the end in the pool, as I was getting a bit worried that that crab was getting a bit too close to me, but then he does a toxic puddle, so I get out of it, jump on the wall, and there we go. Serpentrix is dead, and that's how you solo Serpentrix in the Eye of Azshara. As always guys, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let me know in the comments what more content you want to see, and if you like these sort of videos. I've been your boy, NPG.